Paulo Costa light heavyweight. I like the sounds of that, guys. Right? But I'm the one that reminded you, or at least came out with a prediction. Turned out, am I right or wrong? Is my prediction now right or is it wrong? When Paulo Costa got done fighting Israel Adesanya, said he won't go back to middleweight. Now, I was, of course, predicting that would be designed, that Paulo Costa and his team would come out and announce we're going to light heavyweight, fresh coat of paint, brand new path, back to the throne. But am I still right? Paulo Costa has not returned to middleweight. He went to light heavyweight exactly as I said, and he's not going to return to middleweight. And Paulo Costa was pushing back on that a little bit, saying, no, middleweight's my division. No, it's not. It's not. We've proven that. Don't make the same mistake twice. He not only failed to make 185 pounds, he failed to make 195 pounds. And it just means he's a light heavyweight. Let's not kick Paulo Costa. He did a wonderful performance, and he also went 5 full rounds, which means he's championship quality, which means he's main event worthy. Paulo Costa looked great. Absolutely great. Wonder what he would look like if he knew he was going in that division. Wonder what he would look like if he could focus more purely on the training and not the weight cut. Guys that cut weight will really know what I'm alluding to there, but there is so much of your day, so much of your process that is dedicated to beating that scale the day before the match that you take your eye off the ball. You have no choice. It's part of the sport. So what would happen if Paulo didn't have to do that? What could happen if he could be a little bit happier, be a little bit more comfortable, travel a little bit easier, and have a fresh set of guys? I mean, look, 205 pounds is a mess right now. Glover Teixeira is going to fight for the world championship. Glover Teixeira is the rightful number one contender. It's a mess right now. John Jones walked away from the division. Dominic Reyes, who beat John and lost a decision, says he's not going to fight until next year. Then you got these guys like Raychik, who were straight up killers, but maybe not household names. You have guys like Anthony Smith, who will fight absolutely anybody. I mean, right? You want to talk about Lionheart as you're talking about what Paulo Costa is going to do next? I will predict for you, Paulo Costa is going to fight Lionheart. But I don't suggest for you that that's necessarily the right fight to make. The 205-pounders are not going to call Paulo Costa out. They're going to see what I just stated. They're going to see a Terminator who they never once planned for. And one thing the top guys never want to do is see somebody new. Top guys don't have to face anybody new. If you make it the top 5 ranking, you will stay within that ranking. When you go to bed each night, you go to practice each day, you will have one of 5 guys that you're going to be facing. You will be right. There'll be nothing new getting thrown in there. And once the new thing gets thrown in there, those top guys pucker up real tight. So I bring Anthony Smith for you because even though we're only 3 days removed, nobody said Paulo Costa's name. Dana White says he's going to the division. Nobody's challenged him. This is a main event guy who recently fought for a world championship. He matters, and no 205-pounders called him out. It's not going to take too long for Sean and Mick to figure out, well, we need a fight for him that matters, and Lionheart will fight anyone. Oh, by the way, Lionheart's a main eventer, and this guy looks like he does pretty good at main events. I mean, right, you just start bringing these guys together by process of elimination. And my only elimination here that I'm eliminating is the chickens that won't do the fight. And I found one guy who I happen to know will, and I don't think that's enough. I don't think Lionheart should have to jump on that grenade, in all fairness. Paulo Costa coming in is something that guys, top guys, are going to need and have the right to assess, even if it's one time. They've earned the right, getting their way up into that top 5, into that echelon. So when you see some of those resistance and all of this chicken stuff that you get from these fake tough guys in a tough guy business, a little of that frustration is warranted. When you're getting thrown a curveball that you fully acknowledge is coming down the pipe pretty damn fast, and that's what Paulo Costa is. I think Paulo Costa would serve himself very well to get the call-out train going. The sooner he does a call-out, that will tell us that he now acknowledges he's at 205. And if he plays this game with himself, it's psychological, right? Aspen Ladd is going through it right now. Number 3 girl in the world just doesn't believe she's a 45-pounder yet. John Jones is going through it right now. Top guy in the world doesn't believe he can change weight classes just yet. So you got to get over that piece. And that's very internal and personalized to each athlete, and there's no wrong answer how that goes. We will just be signified as the audience that psychological hurdle has been conquered by Paulo Costa once Paulo calls out a 205-pounder. It can be anyone. But once he calls them out, that will be us, the audience, getting let behind the curtain that he has settled in and accepted his new division. You guys saw what I saw. You see Paulo Costa not too small, not too weak, not too tight, not too anything. You saw him look great. But until he understands, it's just like John Jones, guys. John Jones won a world championship, but he's just not there yet. You're going to see it with Aspen, too. Ranked number 3 in the world at 135. She will get a top 3 ranking quickly at 145 once she understands this is where she belongs. It's one of those things. One of those things. And I do think a 205-pounder would also be very well served to start calling out Paulo Costa right now. Show the courage. It's a main event fighter. Do you want that spot? Do you want the main event? Do you want these big matches? I see so many athletes that the answer is yes, but they don't know how to go about getting it. The answer really is yes. They really do want to be the top of the card. They don't know about getting it. And if they start doing call-outs, they make themselves vulnerable. They start setting themselves up for failure. If you walk to the mound like Babe Ruth and you say where you're going to hit the ball and you get it there, you will be a legend for hundreds of years. If you strike out, you'll look like a bigger fool than the guy that if you just walked out to the mine, spit your tobacco, and took your 3 swings. It's different. Always put yourself on the hook. People say, I don't want to be on the hook. Yes, you do. Always be on the hook. Live life on the hook. Full pressure, house is on fire. Right now, 205 pounds is being asked a question. Who wants Paulo Costa? And if you have the sense that God gave geese, which you don't, none of you will do it. If you have the sense that God gave geese and you weigh 185 pounds, you would be screaming Paulo's name. You would be the one guy calling Paulo Costa out in a division that he can't get to. The fight that you don't want, evident of the fact that none of you cowards called him out ever in the history of Paulo Costa have any of you wimps called him out at 185. But now you wimps don't even have to go do it. You can just get the credit. None of you have done it. None of you will do it. And none of your managers brought this to you. Before you're looking at the man in the mirror and thinking, man, you are one stupid son of a bitch. You're right. You're right, middleweights. You are. You have the right to tell the man in the mirror how stupid he is. You're right. But why are you listening to these managers if none of your managers have called you and told you, start calling out Paulo Costa? Oh, I don't want to fight him. I'm really scared of him. He's got big muscles. You're not going to fight him. You're just going to get the headlines about fighting him.